Well, a deep reflection on the outcomes of the 2024 elections, which saw the ANC losing its majority for the first time since 1994, as well as the state of the party, are set to top the agenda of their six-day ordinary NEC meeting and the NEC Lekgotla starting today. The meeting will start in Boksburg, east of Johannesburg. Now, the NEC is the highest decision-making body of the ANC. It will be followed by its Lekgotla on Sunday until Tuesday. At the NEC, the party's top brass will reflect deeply on the election outcomes, the state of the organization, and its program going forward. The NEC Lekgotla, on the other hand, comprising of ministers and their deputies, as well as premiers and executive mayors, will discuss a policy program for the ANC in government, emanating from its 6 priorities as contained in its election manifesto. Now, these priorities include driving inclusive growth and job creation, reducing poverty and tackling the high cost of living, as well as building a capable, ethical and developmental state, among others. Well, our reporter Samkele Maseko is there and we cross live now to him. Samkele, thank you so much for your time. So let's talk about what is then expected. I mean, a busy couple of days for the ANC after speaking to various analysts and including the party leaders itself. It's clear that time will be spent introspecting on the party's dismal performance during the national elections for one. Just talk to us what we can expect.
Well, Unati, we can expect that the ANC will delve deep into the election results, and there will be a report that will be tabled by the head of elections, Mr. Mtumiseni Ntuli, on the ANC's electoral fortunes. I did try and get that particular report, but obviously they are very mum on it. But what we do know that it is very scathing and very critical of the organization in 3 provinces, Mpumalanga, the province of KwaZulu-Natal in the main, and also in Gauteng. It speaks about a lack of the structures of the organization, particularly within the province of Gauteng and also in KwaZulu-Natal, where the ANC received a hammering. It also goes back to the ANC's elections report of 2009 on the Umfowethu syndrome and how people were voting for Jacob Zuma based on the line that they see him as Umfowabo, basically seeing him as a fellow brother. In essence, they were seeing him as someone who was being victimized by the then administration of former President Thabo Mbeki. It also speaks about there being a leadership vacuum or a leadership gap between the people and the leaders that are assumingly leading them across the province, which speaks about that particular ideological and intellectual bankruptcy within the structures of the African National Congress.
Of course, we also have the ANC NEC Lekgotla that's taking place, during this time. As soon as that NEC, ends on over the weekend, just talk to us about the priorities here. I mean, there is a slight shift given the fact that this will also include premiers, executive mayors that will be in this discussion and, in fact, discussing the policy program.
The ANC NEC Lekgotla normally precedes that of the Cabinet Lekgotla, but this time around you have the Cabinet Lekgotla taking place, but the ANC will look to seek to implement its 6 priority areas through its manifesto in this NEC Lekgotla, which will encompass those ministers, deputy ministers, mayors of the African National Congress across the particular board. As you can see, there is Zamani Sol, the Premier of the Northern Cape. I don't know if he's going to want to say something, but Mr. Premier, 2 minutes, please. 2 minutes. Particularly, let's speak about the Northern Cape, hydrogen sector. You see our electoral decline within that province. What are going to be some of your inputs, first on the electoral decline and then secondly on the Lekgotla, on the economic base, on what the Northern Cape can bring to the economy?
Now, there's still lots of work that we need to do, and to ensure that we address the socio-economic challenges in the province and in the main high levels of youth unemployment. And we are working out our plans that we are going to roll out for the next 5 years on how best to respond to that urgent challenge of ensuring that young people are in gainful employment. So as soon as we can address that problem, I think it will put the province in a much better position. The second issue that we raise is the one of the hydrogen plant that we are looking at putting up in Namakwa. Linked to that is the SEZ. I'm certain you know that the Special Economic Zone has been designated. For the first time, we've got an SEZ in the province, and that SEZ, we are actually using it as a catalyst for economic growth. And with the work that we have with SASOL, we are at the advanced stages of ensuring that we put up the green hydrogen plant in Boksburg.
When you look at the electoral decline in the Northern Cape province, the head of elections, Mtumiseni Ntuli, is set to table and a report on the outcomes of the elections that is going to be pretty much scathing on Gauteng, Mpumalanga, KwaZulu-Natal and the Northern Cape province, particularly looking at your decline. What are you anticipating from that report?
There's a decline across the board. There's no province that have not lost elections. There's no province that has not shared the votes. It's a decline across the board. But I think what we should be doing is to be very objective and look at what is it that could have led to the decline. There's a multitude of factors that led to the ANC shedding vote national and shedding votes in all provinces. There's no exception. So we'll have to sit down and objectively look at what are the current challenges which are confronting the movement. But we can't embark on a process of analysis to a point of paralysis. What we should be doing is to develop a program for the next 5 years. In actual fact, what is more important here, what we should be focusing on, is to create a moment of resurgence. We should recover from this loss. And we can only recover from this loss if we create a moment of resurgence that will put the movement in a much better position.
How do you see a resurgence in a province like the Northern Cape, where a vast majority of your population is unemployed?
Yes, it's not a vast majority of the population that is unemployed. Our official unemployment in the province is standing at 28%, which is the second lowest in the country. And 28% unemployment is a very high levels of unemployment. And we are putting our programs in place, and I've just mentioned two of our catalytic projects. Our SEZ has been improved, 2.1 billion rand infrastructure investment in the SEZ. There is quite a significant amount of work in the port and rail development project, and one critical project that we are busy with is a catalyst project, is the one of the green hydrogen. But with all of that, we need to come up with urgent measures on trying to address this problem. I'm sure you've seen we've rolled out a massive program on skilling and reskilling young people. In actual fact, we are spending close to 800 million rand on that. And we've got about 27,000 people, young people that have been taken on board. Our biggest problem around issues of unemployment in the Northern Cape is the low skill space. There are job opportunities which are there, but the people who are there, most of the people who are unemployed, they don't have the necessary skills. The skills mismatch what we call as the structural challenges which are there in the economy of the province. Hence, we are investing so much money to ensure that we get young people trained, we ensure that young people get vocational training, and some of them are getting trained on skills which are relevant to areas of growth like mining and as well as renewable energy.
When you look at your electoral decline, you go to areas such as Uppington, where you saw a huge electoral decline in that area, which is predominantly a coloured area. What are some of the factors that you have zoomed in as a province, as a provincial executive committee, that saw you decline there? You go to an area like Kimberley, I saw you just put in an RTT within that particular region of Francis Bart.
There's an RTT because we are going to a regional conference. The term of the last regional executive committee have expired now. We need to put in an interim structure to prepare the region towards a regional conference. The issue of a coloured vote has been a blind spot for us as the provincial executive committee. I think we've made an acknowledgement to that. And we'll have, because what the Patriotic Alliance did, it came with identity politics, which politics based on race. And we'll have to develop measures on how best to counter that, because it does not help, it polarizes the province, and it's not good for any democratic dispensation.
But would you not attribute that to your own political dynamics in the province, particularly around your predecessor, who has just been released on, what may say, parole, John Block?
No, I don't think it's got anything to do with Comrade John, his conviction and his release on parole. It's just that as the African National Congress, I don't think we've done enough to counter those kind of identity politics in the province.
Lastly, your response to Julius Malema. He said in Kimberley that you had sold out and decided to work with the Freedom Front Plus.
Is there anybody who still takes Julius Malema serious? I don't know, because my problem is I don't have a circus. So I don't know how to manage clowns. So people who've got circus, who own circuses, they would know how to best manage a clown called Julius Malema. I don't know how to manage clowns.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zabani. So that is the Premier of the Northern Cape and also the provincial chairperson saying that the coloured vote was a blind spot for them where they saw a hammering in areas such as Uppington.